and our strength. Oh, we thank you,
Rivers flowing through Babylon, we hung our heads and we cried. We hung our hearts on the willow trees, and we cried, Jerusalem for thee. Oh, Zion, city of YahShua, oh, Zion, sweet memories. If my heart cease to sing your praise, may my tongue be silent evermore. Yahweh's dwelling place upon the earth. Oh, Zion, city of YahShua, oh, Zion, sweet memories. If my heart cease to sing your praise, may my tongue be silent evermore. Cease to Yahweh, He heard my cry, He rescued me in my darkest
I saw what looked like a sea of glass mixed with fire, and standing beside the sea, those who had been victorious. They held harps given them by God, and they sang the song of Moses and the song of the Lamb.
and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of Yah, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great, great and marvelous are your works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are your ways, Lord, O King of the saints. Who shall not fear you, O Lord? And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, the servant of Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb. Saying,
Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels. Psalms 122, 6 through 7. Good morning, everybody. We got a little rain last night, and we're all here in our places with bright, shining faces. Amen?
Amen.
As many of you know, I'll be traveling on Tuesday, but I will be here with you via satellite on Sabbath. So come expecting, and I'll be giving you a report about what's going on in Australia with our congregations there and in New Zealand, and we will be broadcasting that back to you. Amen. So you'll be going with me via satellite. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise. Praise Yahweh, my soul. Yahweh, my Elohim, you're very great. You're clothed with splendor and majesty. Yahweh wraps himself in light as with a garment, and he stretches out the heavens like a tent. Gentlemen, would you please stand? Ladies, hold on to your seats. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al mitzvot tzitzit. Amen. Which means, blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the doctrine of tzitzit. Here is that doctrine. Throughout the generations to come, you are to make tassels on the corners of your garments with a cord of tachelet, a unique kind of heavenly blue on each tassel. You'll have these tassels to look at, and so you'll remember all the commands of Yahweh, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourself by chasing after the lust of your own hearts and eyes. Then you will remember to obey all my commands, and will be consecrated to your Elohim. Numbers 15, 38 through 40. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahitatei b'tzitzit. Amen. Which means, blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to enwrap ourselves with tzitzit. Amen. And so you've gone into your own personal tabernacle. I was glad when they said to me, let us go into the house of Yahweh. Amen. You may be seated. I will exalt you, Yahweh, for you lifted me out of the depths and did not let my enemies gloat over me. Yahweh, my Elohim, I called to you for help and you healed me. You, Yahweh, brought me up from the realm of the dead. You spared me from going down to the abyss. Sing the praises of Yahweh, you his faithful people. Praise his holy name. For his anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may last only for the night, but joy comes in the morning. When I felt secure, I said, I'll never be shaken. Yahweh, when you favored me, you made my royal mountain stand firm. But when you hid your face, I was dismayed. To you, Yahweh, I called. To Adonai, I cried for mercy. What is gained if I'm silenced, I said. If I go down to the abyss, will the dust praise you? Will it proclaim your faithfulness? Hear, Yahweh, and be merciful to me. Yahweh, help me. You turn my wailing into dancing. You remove my sackcloth and clothe me with joy, that my heart may sing your praises and not be silent. Yahweh, my Elohim, I will praise you forever.
Mishkelo
The Israelites are to observe the Sabbath, celebrating it for the generations to come, as a lasting covenant. It will be a sign between me and the Israelites forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Let us all stand and face Jerusalem and make our profession of faith. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is the Almighty, and he is one. Israel, Yahweh is our Elohim. Yahweh is one. Blessed is the name of his glorious kingdom for all eternity. You shall love Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. You shall fix them as a mezuzah on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Remain standing as we sing the Netzarim Amidah. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. You may be seated. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derech YahShua b'Mashiach Yeshua, which means, blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation in Messiah Yeshua. Speedily cause the branch of David thy servant to sprout, and let his horn be exalted by thy salvation, because daily do we wait for thy salvation. Altogether, I believe with perfect faith in the coming of the Messiah, ever how long it takes. I will await his coming every single day. Baku et Yahweh Hamvarech.
Baruch Yahweh Hamrak Le'olam Va'ed.
Bless Yahweh, who is to be praised.
Blessed is Yahweh, who is praised for all eternity.
Altogether, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all of them that's in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Therefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath, throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. This will be a sign between me and you for the generations to come, so that you may know that I am Yahweh, who makes you holy. O Yahweh among the Elohim, who is like you, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? is none like you among the Elohim Yahweh. There are no deeds like yours. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout the generations. Yahweh rules. Yahweh has ruled, and Yahweh will rule forever and ever. Yahweh will give strength to his people. Yahweh will bless his people with wholeness. Shalom. Peace. Father, mercy, bestow your favor upon Zion. Rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, for in you alone we trust. Elohim and ruler, high and exalted, master of all the world. to come, who was and is to come. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Baruch Hashem Yahweh, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Amen, 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 amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen, amen. Yahweh, you're holy and your name is holy. And the holy ones praise your name every single day forever. Blessed are you, the Holy One of Israel. When the ark would travel, Moses would say, Arise, O Yahweh, and let your enemies be scattered, and let them that hate you flee from you. For from Sion will go forth the Torah and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Blessed is he who in his holiness gave the Torah to his people, Israel. For from Sion will go forth the Torah and the word of Adonai from Jerusalem. We don't take it for granted. Blessed are you who gave the Torah to his people, the commonwealth of Israel. Amen. Come forward, Geraldine, daughter of the Torah. You may be seated. The Torah is at rest.
Blessed is Yahweh, who is blessed. Everyone? Blessed is Yahweh, who is blessed forever and ever. Blessed is Yahweh, who is blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who chose us from among all the people and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Today's Torah portion will be read Deuteronomy 30th chapter, verses 1 through 8. And it shall come to pass, when all these things have come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations where Yahweh, your Elohim, has driven you. And shall return to Yahweh, your Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul. That then Yahweh, your Elohim, will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations where Yahweh, your Elohim, has scattered you. If your outcast have been driven out to the farthest parts of heaven, from there will Yahweh, your Elohim, gather you, and from there will he fetch you. And Yahweh, your Elohim, will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers. And Yahweh, your Elohim, will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed to love Yahweh, your Elohim, with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live. And Yahweh, your Elohim, will put all these curses upon your enemies and on those who hate you and who persecute you. And you shall return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments, which I command you this day. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and implanted eternal life within us. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Amen. Come forward, Regina, you who consider the prophets.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who chose good prophets and was pleased with their words, which were spoken in truth. Blessed are you, Yahweh, who chooses the Torah, Moses his servant, Israel his people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. The half-Torah portion I'll be reading today will be Jeremiah chapter 12, 10 through 17. Many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard. They have trampled my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourns to me. The whole land is made desolate, because no man lays it to heart. The destroyers have come upon all high hills through the wilderness, for the sword of Yahweh devours from one end of the land to the other end of the land. No flesh has peace. They have sown wheat, but have reaped thorns. They have put themselves to pain, but shall not profit. And they shall be ashamed of your revenues because of the fierce anger of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh against all my evil neighbors who touch the inheritance which I had caused my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck them out of their land, and pluck out the house of Judah from among them. And it shall come to pass that after I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them back, every man to his inheritance, to his heritage, and every man to his land. And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name Yahweh lives, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall they be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, says Yahweh. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, Rock of all ages, righteous in all generations, the Almighty, the Faithful One, who says and does, who speaks and fulfills. For all his words are true and right. For the Torah, for the divine service, for the prophets, for this Sabbath day which you gave us, Yahweh our Elohim, for holiness and for rest, for honor and for glory. For all this, Yahweh our Elohim, we thank you and bless you. Blessed be your name by the mouth of all the living continually forever. Blessed are you, Elohim, sanctifier of the Sabbath. Come forward, Ed, faithful disciple of King Messiah YahShua.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us his only begotten Son as our Redeemer, and has given a new covenant to the house of Israel, unifying the two into one new kingdom, the commonwealth of Israel. Blessed are you, Yahweh, who chose the original 12 apostles to bring this message of renewal to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and has chosen us to carry on that work to sift Israel from the nations, where you scattered them. May this reading stir the heart of your people. The Nazarene scripture portion today is taken from Matthew chapter 11, verses 25 through 30. At that time, YahShua answered and said, I thank thee, Father, Master of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered unto me of my Father, and no man knoweth the Son but the Father, neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, for ratifying the new covenant that gives to your people a law of return by the sacrificial blood of your Son, King Messiah YahShua. We thank you for giving us the full messianic message of the kingdom, we proclaim to all the world, the kingdom is at hand. For all this, Yahweh our Elohim, we thank you and bless you. Blessed are you, Yahweh, who has renewed covenant with your people Israel. Come forward, Howard, and bring to Israel the song of truth.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who selected people of praise and was pleased with their worship in spirit and truth. You raised up David, your faithful servant and righteous anointed, the sons of Korah, who brought honor to their house and righteous worshipers in every generation, to sing songs of delight in your presence, and you inhabit their praise. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. The reading from Tehillim, or Psalms, is from 144, 1 through 5. By David, le David. Blessed is Yahweh, my rock, Baruch Yahweh Tzuri, who trains my hands for battle. Hamed lamed, ladai lacharav, my fingers for war. Etz beotai la milchama, my gracious one, Chazdi, my fortress, Umetzudati, my stronghold, Misgabi, my own rescuer, Umefati, my shield in whom I take refuge, Magini, Uvo Chasiti, he who subjugates my people to me, Haroded Ami Taktai. Yahweh, what is man that you recognize him? Yahweh, Ma'adam Vate Da'ehu, the son of a frail human that you reckon with him. Ben Enosh Vate Chasvehu, man is like a breath. Adam La Hevel Dama, his days are like a passing shadow. Yonav Ketzel Over. Yahweh, bend your heavens and descend. Yahweh, Ha-Shamecha Vetered. Touch the mountains and they will go up in smoke. Gabe Harim Veye Eshanu. May it be your will, Yahweh, our Elohim, and the Elohim of our ancestors, that you pay heed and mercy to the psalm that I have recited, and may it stand in love, fellowship, and companionship, for we love you and you alone. Amen.
This is the Torah that Moses placed before the children of Israel. Behold, a good doctrine has been given to you. my Torah, Yahweh says. Do not forsake it. All together? All that Yahweh has said, we will do and hear. It is the tree of life to those who grasp it, and those who support it are blessed. Its ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all of its paths are peace. Help us to return to you, Yahweh, and then truly we will return. Renew our days as in the ancient past. You may be seated. Amen. I was just sitting in my office and getting my mind wrapped around the lesson. And my emotions came sweeping over me. And I'm just sappy enough to want to say something to you. When I leave with you in my heart. This is my home congregation, but this is my home. And you're my family. Many of you have made so many sacrifices for this congregation. And I don't take it for granted, neither does the people here. Robert and Marie, you've given sacrificially here. And I appreciate everything that you do here. And but here's the thing. You never ask for nothing. And you give it unto Yahweh. And I realize that. Steve and Adele, your bright and shining faces, you're always here. You give sacrificially. And Steve, you deal with the finances here. And sometimes that can get discouraging. Because how many of you know they go up and down? But this is Yahweh's place. And it'll be here as long as he wants it here. I couldn't keep it here. I didn't really start it. The Father called me to do this. And I said, if it's just me and my family, we're going to serve Yahweh. And I opened up the doors and you all came. Little Lisa, you've been coming here. And your family has pressured you not to come here. You've been here 3 years. And sometimes they think you're a little strange, don't they?
No, they do not.
That's a good way to put it, diplomatically. Jennifer, you've been coming here for a few months, haven't you? And I've just watched you grow. All of us have just watched you grow, and we've been so encouraged to see what Yahweh is doing in your life and in Mossy and Eli's life. And the enemy has really come against you. If you were ever going to get discouraged, it would have been then, but you didn't. On her Facebook, she's constantly putting on there what Yahweh is to her, letting everyone see. She announced it from the housetops when she came and embraced Yahweh. And Tony and Geraldine, poor Geraldine, it took me about two or 3 weeks to get her name right. I kept wanting to call her Josephine. But her name is Geraldine. And I'm glad I finally got it right today. Wasn't that good?
Wonderful.
It was wonderful. Everybody likes to hear their own name and not somebody else's name.
That's right.
That's like Yahweh, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Ed, bless your heart. How long have you been here?
10 years.
Next Passover before 10 years.
Wow. That is awesome. And he's so careful to have, know sometimes it's hard for him to even walk. But Yahweh has brought him here, and he goes and gets Brother David on Wednesday. And Brother David has been here so often. And many of those know that he's got health issues that keep him away on Sundays. But when he can get here, he's here. And he always gives his tithe. It might be small in some people's reckoning, but it's not to him and not to this fellowship. It takes everything and everybody's gifts to keep on going. It's an amazing thing to see what Yahweh does in people's lives and how they walk with him. The steps of a righteous man are ordered of Yahweh. And so he orders your steps. It's awesome. Eartha, you've been here for what, 2 years?
A little bit over.
Over.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you. I notice you when you're not sitting there. Sometimes she has to go away for training, but I notice when you're not there. And you've always got a smile for me.
Yeah.
Amen. Regina, you're so faithful, and I tease her so hard. But how many of you know that if I tease you hard, that's because I love you hard? In Texas, we kind of do that, don't we, Brother Robert? We can't just go and slobber all over you, so what we do is we tease you. Amen. And Doc and Bev, you've been here so long. Let's see, what, 15 years? Something like that? He used to have to drive all the way from Buffalo. He still has to on the weekdays because he still works there, or did work there just up until recently. And Yahweh's opening up some more doors. I've been praying for those doors, and he opened the doors up for Steve when some doors got shut, and they're open again. And Yahweh's going to open the doors up for you, the way he wants them opened up, and the location he wants you to walk through. Sister Beverly, she came here, and her home church did think she was making a big mistake, didn't they? She came in and just beamed and smiled. This is what she'd been looking for, and the Holy Spirit directed her here, and she's never looked back. And then she found her love of her life, Doc, and now they're walking together and holy matrimony as one. Gerald and Lindsay. Gerald was my friend in high school. He put up with me all through high school, and he still wants to put up with me here.
Yep. It's a wonder.
And he's the first one to give you a DVD to tell you about this congregation. I take him out on some speaking engagements, and I'll hear him talking to people one-on-one, doing discipling one-on-one. And he knows it. He knows it. And that is awesome. Donna, you are here almost from the beginning. She thought she was Methodist, but she come out of there and came here. And I put her to work in any way I can. All of you, I put you to work, don't I? And Sister Marie, she does things here that you wouldn't believe. I'll come in and she'll have something scrubbing on it, or she'll have a mop on something. She's cleaning and just giving it unto Yahweh. And they've done so much. All of us, it takes us all. This is Agad Bris. Every one of us. Not just me. Not just a few, but everyone. Some are not here today. And I include them. They are sick in body and couldn't be here. They called this morning, several. And we're praying for them. Let's just bow our heads and pray for those that are not with us today. Father, we just ask for a special blessing on those that are not with us today. Father, their heart is, and many of them are listening on by internet. And so we ask for a special blessing on each of them. Just touch them in Yeshua's name. Amen and amen. Well, thank you for coming today, and I want to share a message with you. I taught this a long time ago, and Yahweh prompted me to bring it again. We started on Wednesday, and I just want to kind of review some things. I want to teach today the three-dimensional man. The three-dimensional man. C.S. Lewis said this, and I quote, Yahweh said in the scriptures that we are Elohim, and he's going to make good his words if we let him. For we can prevent him if we choose. He will make the feeblest and the filthiest of us into Elohim, a dazzling, radiant, immortal creature pulsating all through with such energy and joy and wisdom and love as we cannot imagine. End of quote. And that's the goal of our life. Yahweh is begetting sons and daughters of himself. He's an Elohim. And so as his children, we are Elohim. Yahweh said in Psalms 82, you are Elohim. You are all sons of the Most High. YahShua said, is it not written in your Torah, I have said you are Elohim? If he called them Elohim, to whom the word of Yahweh came, and scripture cannot be set aside, what about the one whom the Father set apart as his very own and sent into this world? Why then do you accuse me of blasphemy, because I said I am Yahweh's son? Do not believe me unless I do the works of my Father. But if I do them, even though you do not believe me, believe the works, that you may know and understand what the Father is in me and I in the Father. John 10, 34 through 38. And that sounds kind of drastic, doesn't it? You are Elohim. So drastic that the rabbis were going to stone YahShua for saying it. But he reminded them, it's in the Word. And if it's in the Word, we got to believe it, don't we? Hello? We got to believe it. Now may the Elohim of peace or wholeness himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be preserved blameless at the coming of our King Messiah YahShua. 1 Thessalonians 5:23. So it is Yahweh who is making us into Elohim, spirit, soul, and body. Now our Western mind fixates on two dimensions, body and soul. I mean, most people think that the soul is the spiritual side of man and that the body is the physical side of man. And so their whole belief system is based on the soulish aspects of themselves. And for this reason, Yahweh sent his word into this world to give us revelation. It's his word, his revelation, and that's the antidote for us to stop thinking negatively about ourselves. That's stinking thinking. And he wants us to emerge as Elohim and begin to live life, and that more abundantly. Yes. That's giving living. Therefore lay aside all filthiness and overflow of wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror, for he observes himself and he goes away and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does. James 1, 21 through 25. Now we've been talking about the Torah. We've been talking about grace. We've been talking about faith. And those are forces that Yahweh is sending to us to transform us into Elohim. Remember what it says, that YahShua was made a little lower than the Elohim to dwell among men. So because we have fallen from our position that Yahweh originally had for us, where he would walk with us in the cool of the day, and we would be like him, YahShua had to step down from his Elohimness to walk with us. But he's trying to lift us up. What did it say in Ephesians 2? That when he died and resurrected and ascended, he rose us up too. And made us seat where? In heavenly places. The mirror of a man is the Torah, because it reveals to us what we really are. If we examine ourselves in light of the mirror of divine law, every flaw in our character is revealed in the mirror. We don't want to see what's in the mirror. When we look in the Torah, for many of us, it is a momentary glance. We look away. We can't stand to look at it directly. We stay away from the house of study. We don't want to come to Torah school. All because we don't want to see what we really look like. It's uncomfortable. The only way that we can see this image is by focusing our attention on Torah, on Word, staring, gazing, peering deeply at it. The only way we're going to know the royal law of liberty, of Yahweh's righteousness, is to stare intently and gaze in a focused way into the mirror of divine law. The Torah reflects to us two things: the complete holiness of Yahweh and the complete unholiness of man. The complete holiness of Yahweh and the complete unholiness of man. The Torah mirrors the holiness of Yahweh because it reveals his character. He says, don't bear false witness. Why? Because Yahweh can't lie. And so he wants to raise us up to the level that we can't lie. Yahweh is perfect love. Perfect love casts out all fear. So he tells us, thou shalt not commit adultery. Don't break your love vow. Why? Because Yahweh doesn't break his love vow. He's perfect love. And so he wants to raise us up to a level that when we love one another, we love one another in perfect love. So we don't have to be afraid of being vulnerable with each other. Always believe that your brother and sister has your best interest at heart. They may make mistakes in the relationship with one to another. That happens because we're people. But we're being raised up to Elohim. Don't look at us now. Don't stay offended. How many know sometimes we get our feelings hurt at each other? That's right. Now we can either fester or we can rise above. Amen. Knowing that really at heart, our friend, our believer, our fellow believer has our best interest at heart. We're trying to reveal the character of Yahweh. But it takes work. It takes us to work out our own way of salvation. With what? With fear and trembling. So, the Torah mirrors the holiness of Yahweh. It reveals his character. But in so doing, it also reveals the utter depravity of mankind without Yahweh. We will not be doers of the Torah until we first gaze intently into the Word of Yahweh, which is, let's come on, the law of Yahweh. Now it is teaching, it is instruction, it is revelation, but it's also law. Amen. Yahweh Elohim formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Genesis 2 and 7. The breath of the Almighty gives me life. Job 33 and 4. He who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does, says James 1:25. This law, this Torah, it is the tree of life to those who grasp it, and those who support it are blessed. Its ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all of his paths are wholeness, or peace, or shalom. Proverbs 3:17-18. So, what these scriptures are saying is, Yahweh formed us out of the dust of the earth. And then he breathed into us his spirit, which becomes the residue, that residue becomes our spirit, and it quickens our mortal soul. And we become alive. And if we will walk in that perfect Torah that spoke everything to existence except us, everything was spoken into existence except us, we were formed. We were loved into existence. We can grab onto this. We'll get back to the tree of life. Amen. Elohim said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. So we're made in the image and likeness of what? Elohim. And let them have dominion. And there was evening and there was morning. And it was the sixth day. Genesis 1:26-31. Meaning the very first full day of man's existence was Sabbath. So immediately after we were created, loved into existence by loving hands and the sweet kiss of life, Yahweh said, let's have Sabbath together. When Yahweh first created man, he formed him of the dust of the ground, and then he intimately placed his lips over our lips in the kiss of creation and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils. As soon as the breath of life, which became man's spirit, came into contact with man's body, the soul was produced. Hence, the soul is produced in the interaction of the body and the spirit. The scripture, therefore, calls man a living soul. The breath of life became man's spirit, that is, the life force within him. Rabbi YahShua tells us it is the spirit that gives life in John 6:63. This breath of life comes from the giver of life, the great creator of the universe. In him was life, and life was the light of man, and the light shines in darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. It was the true light which gives light to every man coming into the world, says John 1:4-5-9. In fact, the Hebrew word for life there is kaim. Im is the masculine plural. So the Hebrew word life in the breath of life is kaim, and it is a plural. This refers to the fact that the inbreathing of the Spirit produces a twofold life, a soulish life and a spiritual life. When Yahweh formed man out of the dust of the ground, he made man's body. When he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, he created man's spirit, for it came from Yahweh, and man became a living soul. When the body was quickened by the Spirit and brought into being, a living and self-conscious person arose. The soul is the center of our being for the carnal life. But the Spirit is to be the ruling power in our resurrection life, for the scripture tells us it is sown a physical body, it's raised a spiritual body. 1 Corinthians 15:44. Now, that doesn't mean it's any less real. Oh, so we won't really have a real body? We will have a real body, a spiritual body. I know, but that's kind of like a ghost, huh? No. is kind of not like a ghost. It is a real, tangible, spiritual body. The difference between a physical body and a spiritual body is interdimensional. It can go into the celestial realm. It can go into the physical realm. It can go anywhere into Yahweh's creation. It's interdimensional. For the believer, there is a war in the body between the spirit and the flesh. And that's the root of the conflict in our person. We know that the Torah is spiritual, but I'm carnal, sold unto sin for what I'm doing. I do not understand. For what I will do, that I do not practice, but what I hate, that I do. If then I do what I will not to do. I agree with the law, that is good, the Torah, that is good. But now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, nothing good dwells. For to will is present with me, but how to perform what is good I do not find. For the good that I will to do, I do not do, but the evil I will not to do, that I practice. Now, if I do what I will not to do, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me. I find in a law that evil is present with me, the one who wills to do good. For I delight in the Torah of Yahweh according to the inward man, the Spirit. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members, in my body. O wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death? I thank Yahweh through Messiah YahShua our King. So then, with the mind I myself serve the Torah of Yahweh, but with the flesh, the law of sin. Romans 7:14 through 25. So what is the cure? The very next chapter in the very next verse in the next chapter tells us, there is therefore no guilt, no condemnation to them that submerge themselves in the Messiah YahShua. Romans 8:1. So really, Steve, it's not a noble thing to say, I got Yeshua in my heart. It's a greater thing to say, I am Yeshua's heart. I am submerged into Yeshua. Yeah. That makes it different. You are the temple of Yahweh. Amen. Don't you know that you yourselves are Yahweh's temple and that Yahweh's Spirit dwells in your midst? If anyone destroys the temple of Yahweh, Yahweh will destroy that person. For Yahweh's temple is sacred, and you together are that temple. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness in Yahweh's sight. As it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness. And again, Yahweh knows that the thoughts of the wise are futile. 1 Corinthians 3:16 through 19. See, the difference between a sinner and a saint is, a sinner gets up every morning, devising crafty ways to sin. Now, they don't say that. They get up thinking, what am I going to do today? I can do this and this and this. Well, that's kind of wrong. But not if I don't get caught. But a saint gets up saying, oh, Father, good morning. Help me live a holy life. Thank you for returning my consciousness to me. Help me live a holy life. I want to live for you. Help me not make any mistakes. I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to grieve you. See, I'm not a sinner saved by grace. I was. Now I'm a saint trying to live a holy life. We know the temple is divided into three parts. The court, which is seen by all and visited by all. All external worship is offered here. Going further is the sanctuary, and it's divided into two parts. The holy place, which is only where the priests can enter, and where they present oil and incense and unleavened challah to Yahweh. Internal worship is offered here, and they're quite near to Yahweh, yet still outside the veil. and therefore unable to stand before the concentrated presence. The Shekinah dwells deepest within in the Holy of Holies, where darkness is overshadowed by brilliant glory, and into which only the high priest can enter. Intensive worship and communion is offered there. Well, the body of man is the outer court. Remember, we're the temple of Yahweh. The body of man is the outer court, occupying an external position with its light visible to all. Here, men ought to obey every commandment of Yahweh. That's what the commandments are designed to do, to cause the spirit to reign in the body. Here, the precious sacrificial blood of Messiah is applied as a substitute and dies for all mankind. Inside the court is the sanctuary, and the sanctuary of man is divided into two parts. The soul, that's the holy place, where there is man's emotion, volition, and mind. It is here a regenerated person may serve Yahweh as the priest of yourself. Behind the veil of logic lies the Holy of Holies, in which no human insight has ever penetrated, and no carnal eye has ever pierced. It is the secret place of the Most High, the dwelling place of Yahweh. Man cannot reach it unless Yahweh is willing to rend the veil. That place is man's spirit. This spirit lies beyond man's self-consciousness and above his sensibilities. Here man unites and communes with Yahweh. He who dwells in the secret or the intimate place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow or the presence of the Almighty. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge, says Psalms 91, 1-4. So we are spirit, soul, and body. 1 Thessalonians 5:23 gives the makeup of man in order: spirit, soul, and body. Not soul and spirit and body, nor is it body and soul and spirit. It is spirit, soul, and body. Just as the temple service moved according to the revelation in the Holy of Holies for all activities in the holy place and in the outer court. If there was nothing in the Holy of Holies, then everything done in the other courts would have just been legalism. And so, with the revelation in the Holy of Holies for all activities in the holy place and in the outer court, those who are regulated by the presence of Yahweh in the holiest place, and so it should be in our lives. If we don't have a spirit communing with Yahweh, then we're living by our animal soul. We're doing what feels good, what tastes good, what hears good, what feels good to our touch. That's why a lot of times people live like dogs, going from one person to the next, just using them. And the person being used kind of knows they're being used, but it feels good at the present. And so they get something in return, if it's only for a short time. But they're left empty. And they get angry with you for you pointing it out. Because you come in shining the glory light, because the glory shone out the windows of the temple. And when your glory light shines into their life, guess what? You expose them, so they hate you. They're offended. By your very presence, they're offended. And they don't know why they're offended, but they're offended. Most people live by the soul, the organ of their personality, the composition of mind, volition, and emotion. For most, the master of all their actions, for the body follows the soul's direction. Before the fall of man, however, the Spirit governed the soul, and this is why Yahweh, that's the way that Yahweh still wants it. I'm desperate to inform you that you have a spirit. And that every communication of Yahweh directly to you occurs in the Spirit. If you do not know you have a spirit, you're ignorant of how to commune with Yahweh in the Spirit. You will substitute the thoughts or emotions of the soul for the works of the Spirit, confusing the soulish realm with and unable ever to reach the spirit realm, and thus unable to fulfill Torah outside of legalism. That's why when you try to talk to a soulish person about the Torah, well, that's just legalism. Well, for you it would be. Because all they can see is the legality. Well, it's legal. But I'm not really interested in being legal, they would think. I would rather skirt on the side of illegality if I don't get caught. Most people, if they knew they wouldn't get caught, would do illegal things. Years ago, while I was at seminary, we did a clinic. We went to the Galleria. It's where the rich people shop. And the poor people walk around wishing they could shop here. They might buy a keychain while they're there. Say, I bought something at the Galleria. And we put 3 packages wrapped up with bows and tinsel paper. Empty. One was a brick. One was empty, and one had a baby doll in it, in case people shook it. And then we watched from the other side of the courtyard. And we'd watch people look around. And they'd pick up the package. And most times they try to walk off with the package. Now, a lot of them, you could tell they didn't need nothing. But they was walking off with my brick. And we'd walk in and say, we just are doing a clinic for one of the local colleges. What were you thinking when you packed up the package you were going to leave with it? And we'd interview them. But I remember one that said, well, I figured it didn't belong to anybody. I looked around and nobody was watching for it, so I figured since nobody owned it, I might as well take it. But it's not yours. Well, it's not anybody else's either. I claimed it. They had just gone from legal to illegal. Because they took what was theirs. That's illegal, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And they'd say, no, it's not unless you press charges. No. You're missing indictment with what's legal. It's still illegal, even if you don't have to pay for it. Even if you don't get caught, it's still illegal. If you roll through that stop sign, whether the cop was there to cite you for that, doesn't make it legal or illegal. It was illegal because you broke the law. Well, there shouldn't be a stop sign there anyways. That's stupid to have a stop sign there. They could just have a yield sign there. Yeah, but they don't. And it's not for you to say what is legal and illegal and what you shouldn't do and what you shouldn't do.
That's good.
If you want to change laws, run for office. Hello? But as long as the law is on the book, if you offend the law, you've crossed from legal to illegal. But if you're living in the abundance of the life that Yahweh has given you, You don't care about what's legal and illegal. You just care about what makes Yahweh happy. Yahweh forms the spirit of man within him, says Zechariah 12:1. And so that spirit is trying to get back to Yahweh. For what comes from the Father wants to return to the Father, Yeshua said. I must return to the Father because I came from the Father. Are you hearing me? The human spirit is comprised of three parts: consciousness, intuition, and communion, just as the Holy of Holies had the ark, the rod, and the bowl of manna. The conscience is the discerning organ which distinguishes right and wrong. Intuition is the sensing organ of the human spirit, independent of any outward influence. And communion is strictly just spending time with Yahweh, worshiping Yahweh. Conscience condemns all conduct which does not follow the direction given by the intuition. His spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. Acts 7:16. Remember when Shaul came into Athens? He saw all those idols. Now, he wasn't Greek. So what was it to him? He was offended for Yahweh's sake. When I went into Thailand, I saw all those idols. The people are so sweet. The land is so beautiful. And even those pagan temples are gorgeous. But my spirit was provoked because my spirit came from Yahweh, and I was offended for his sake. Yahweh is known intuitively and reveals his will to man in the intuition. Abraham sensed in his intuition that there was some Elohim out there, even though his father taught him that these idols were the gods. So he should have believed that, because that was his culture, that was his belief system handed down by his family. But his intuition, the Yah gene, if I might, because scientists have now found that in her DNA. They call it God gene, but we know it's Yahweh gene. That man must reach out to a greater being. It's just in our makeup. So the atheist has to lie to himself just to believe that there is not one. That's why the word says a fool says within his heart there is no Elohim. Now, intuitively, we know there's an Elohim. We may not know his name. That's why Abraham called him El Shaddai. But as Abraham walked with Yahweh, he revealed to him his name. As Moses walked with Yahweh, Moses received the name. And so as you're walking with Yahweh, the Spirit of truth guides you into all truth. That's why you're sitting here, because you believe that you're seeking the truth. It's the Spirit himself bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of Yahweh. That's the only way we know that we're the children of Yahweh, is for his Spirit to commune with our spirit. In Romans 8:16. And thus the organs of the soul are incompetent to spiritually worship Yahweh. The true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. John 4:23. He who is united to Yahweh becomes one spirit with him. 1 Corinthians 6:17. In the spirit he carried me away, says Yohanan in the book of Revelations 21:10. Unregenerate man, though they do not possess life, they nevertheless possess these functions, but since they cannot go to the Spirit, so they fulfill their longings in the soul. They have to have something to satisfy that longing to look for Yahweh. That's why drugs are so popular. That's why being intimate with people is popular, because they're trying to fulfill the true love that's missing in their life. Our self is the soul. For instance, Numbers 30, the phrase bind himself occurs 10 times, but in actuality, it's akar nefesh, to obligate one's soul. Covenant obligates the soul of man not to defile himself. You shall not defile yourselves with them. Leviticus 11:43. I want you to look at the person sitting next to you. The believer, when two believers unite, they become one flesh. But that's not the most intimate thing they can do. It's to share their spirit together. You know how you do that? Worship together. Personally, I'm going to let you know a secret. The most attractive thing my wife can do is worship Yahweh. When I watch her with her hands raised and tears flowing down her face, I just want to hug her. Because I know Yahweh's there, and she's with Yahweh, and I want to be with Yahweh, and I want to be with her. The most intimate thing you can do with each other is not to share your bodies, but to share your spirit. In Matthew 16:26 it says, "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his life? Or what shall a man give in return for his life?" In Mark 8:36, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his very soul?" Rabbi Silas in the book of Luke in 9:25, it renders it a different way. "For what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself?" Rabbi Netanyahu uses the word suke, the soul, while Rabbi Silas uses the word to oneself. One's soul or self is the person. Under the right conditions, the spirit is like an employer, the soul is like the foreman, and the body like the worker. The employer gives orders to the steward or the foreman, who in turn commands the servant or the worker to carry them out. The body is the vehicle that carries out the volition of the person. Unfortunately, due to climate, chemicals, and stresses, the body can betray the will and sometimes subvert the will of its person. Have you ever felt that way? Suddenly you just got angry, and you don't know why. And that wasn't what you wanted to do, but you just got angry. Or you just began to cry out uncontrollably, and there wasn't anything to cry about. Or you began to laugh inappropriately when there wasn't anything funny. Sometimes our chemicals in our body betrays our soul. Or sometimes our soul betrays our body. Our soul hears something. Doesn't have to be true. They just hear it and they believe it, and suddenly they act inappropriately to the truth. We need the Spirit to commune with Yahweh, and then after the communion of Yahweh, then that Spirit needs to govern the body and the soul. The soul is man's own self and reveals his personality. It is self-consciousness. The Spirit is that part of man that once was a part of Yahweh and longs to return to Yahweh, and by which alone we are able to apprehend and worship Him, because it longs for His company, because it tells us of our relationship with Yahweh. The Spirit is Elohim consciousness. Yahweh dwells in the Spirit, self dwells in the soul, while senses dwell in the body. We are a three-dimensional being, but we need to be holy in all three dimensions. Hello.
Amen.
Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat of it, you will surely die." Genesis 2:15 and 17. Death entered the world through the disobedience of man to this one dietary law.
Yes.
It's not the amount of laws in the Torah. We could have one law, and it's likely we would offend it. We need communion with Yahweh, don't we?
Amen.
And then we've got to know not to put anything in front of Yahweh. Therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, the death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned, in Romans 5:12. In this condition, one is dead in your trespasses and sins, following the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air or mist, the spirit who now works in those that are lawless or disobedient. Separate from Messiah, excluded from citizenship in the kingdom of Yahweh, and foreigners to the covenants of promise, without hope and without Yahweh in the world, says Ephesians 2, 1-3 and 11. Therefore Yahweh Elohim sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And so he drove out the man, and he placed cherubim, or guardian ones, at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. Genesis 3:23 and 24. This condition is called the wilderness of preparation. It is the same place that Abraham was taken as he looked for a city whose builder and maker was El in Hebrews 11:10. And it's the same place that the word was given to Israel in the wilderness. On the 6th day of the Hebrew month of Saban, in the year 2448 from creation, or 1313 BCE, the newborn nation of Israel assembled at the foot of Mount Sinai to receive the Torah from Yahweh. Ever since, the event is referred to in the languages of our sages as the giving of the Torah, the Matan Torah. Indeed, the Torah calls itself our gift from the desert in Numbers 21:16, or our gift from the wilderness. When Moses went up to Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, he transcended that mountain. Now, in the Agadah, there's an interesting story, and it sheds some light on the scriptures. When Moses ascended to heaven, the angels protested to Yahweh, "What is a human being doing amongst us?" Remember what it says in Acts 7:53. Yahweh gave us the Torah, who have received the Torah by the disposition of angels and have not kept it. So he said to them, "He has come to receive the Torah." Said they to him, "This esoteric treasure, which was hidden with you for 974 generations before the world was created, you wish to give to flesh and blood?" Reminding of Psalms 8:2-5. What is man that you're mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you take notice of him? Place your glory upon the heavens. Said Yahweh to Moses, "Answer them." Said Moses, "Master of the universe, I fear lest they consume me with the breath of their mouths." Said Yahweh, "Hold on to the throne of glory and return them an answer." So Moses said, "Master of the universe, this Torah that you are giving to me, what is written in it?" "I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who has taken you out of the land of Egypt." "Have you descended to Egypt?" asked Moses of the angels. "Have you been enslaved to Pharaoh? So why should the Torah be yours? What else does it say? You shall have no other Elohim. Do you dwell amongst idol-worshipping nations? What else does it say? Remember the Shabbat day. Do you do your work? What else does it say? Do not swear falsely. Do you do business? What else does it say? Honor your father and mother. Do you have parents? What else does it say? Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Is there jealousy among you? Do you have an evil inclination? Straightway the angels conceded to Yahweh, and each one was moved to befriend Moses and transmit something to him. Even the angel of death, too, confided his secret to him. Says the Talmud, Shabbat 88b. The Midrash tells us that when Yahweh spoke the Ten Commandments at Sinai, there was no echo to the divine voice. Rabbi Menachem Shneushan explained that this was because there was no resistance to Yahweh's word. The Ten Commandments penetrated so completely into every crevice of creation that there was no surface off which the words could bounce to create an echo. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Yahweh. Romans 8:19. All creation wants you to become an Elohim. At salvation, you had a Sinai experience, allowing the Word to enter into you in just such a manner that it penetrates between the soul and the spirit. It is as if Yahweh had come down and placed the sapphire cubes of truth and revelation inside you. He has simply bypassed all carnal barriers, clawed deers, a cynical defensive mind, and placed his engraved jewels right into your heart. For I have given you a good acquisition, my Torah, forsake it not, says Proverbs 4:2. Moses commanded us a Torah, the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob, says Deuteronomy 33:4. So what is the Torah? It's a gift, it's an acquisition, and it's an inheritance. The Torah is an acquisition for which we must struggle and toil, which becomes ours through diligent study and meticulous observance. As such, we experience the deep sense of fulfillment that only is achieved when we can come in and bring it into our hearts by Yahweh. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. Study to show yourselves approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needs not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. How can I rightly divide the word of truth? The Spirit of truth will rightly divide the word of truth as I study it in the Spirit. 2 Timothy 2:15. The Torah is a divine gift, for its wisdom is above and beyond anything our finite selves could attain. As such, it wakens our most transcendent strivings, elevating us above our temporality and mortality, making us infinitely more than we are on our own. It's a little bit of heaven that we can embrace right now. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh that gives to them all men liberally and upbraids not, and it shall be given to him, says James 1:5. For Yahweh gives wisdom, out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding, Proverbs 2:6 says. Only Yahweh give you wisdom and understanding and give you charge concerning Israel, that you may keep the Torah of Yahweh your Elohim. 1 Chronicles 22:12. So how can I get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? By studying the Word. And as I study the Word, the Spirit of truth brings truth to me. It enlightens my soul. The Torah is our inheritance. It's our birthright. As such, it is always ours, even when we do not earn it. Even when we close ourselves to the gift of it being bestowed upon us from above. For it is of a piece with our essence. Remember, he said that he was going to form us in his image and likeness. And so when he spoke these words, the same words that he spoke everything into existence, with that same mouth, he spoke the Torah to us. What do you think it's going to do? Make us a new creation, a new creature. We have the Nefesh HaShamayim, the birth from above, being born again. For as such as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Messiah, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do you believe in Yahweh, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Yahweh, seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth. What's the truth? Torah is the truth, says Psalms 119, 142. Through the Spirit, unto unfeigned love of the brethren. See that you love one another with a pure heart, fervently, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but incorruptible, by the word of Yahweh. There it is, which lives and abides forever. 1 Peter 1, 18 through 23. So it is the Spirit of truth. It is the word of Yahweh, the Torah, that's working on your spirit. Torah is designed to address you as a person totally, spirit, soul, and body. So, I'm going to dissect the 10 pronouncements of the Torah, by which all of the 613 commandments of Torah hang in the coming days. This is the introduction to this message, the three-dimensional man. When we get finished, you'll understand the interdimensional aspect of yourself. Amen? Isn't Yahweh good?
All the time.
Look at your neighbor and say, don't judge me. Yahweh's not finished with me. I am becoming an elohim. I'm an elohim in progress. It's amazing, isn't it? Woo! Yahweh is good.
Amen.
Father, I just ask you to take these words and place it into the hearts of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yahweh, my strength and my Redeemer. Finish a work in me. Finish a work in your people. Let us be all you want us to be. In the name of King Messiah YahShua, and we all say,
Amen.
Amen. Praise the Father, from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. Amen. We thank you, Father, for everything you're doing. Amen.
Part two. That's how much time.
I'll be, as I said, I'll be leaving on Tuesday, but I will be Skyping back
You can't do.
during the services. So we'll still have the services on Shabbat. We'll all be still here, all in our places. Amen. I can see through the camera. I'll know who's here and not here. I'm making a list. So I want us all to be here, because I'll get really missing you hard. If you want to Skype me on your own, you know, I'll have my computer on, off and on, so maybe we can link up. Amen. How many of you are hungry? You hungry? I'm kind of hungry too. The humble will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek Yahweh will praise him. May your hearts live forever. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei mazano. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri ha'adama. Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, sher hakol minei bidbaro. Which means, blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, who creates various kinds of sustenance or food, creator of the fruit of the earth, by whose word all things came to be. Amen. Let's eat! Oh yeah, Brother Ed.
What about midweek service?
We'll still have a midweek service. Amen. We will see you on the internet.
I'll be there for a minute. I'll be there for a minute. Call it
Okay,
Onig
good.
or just meal.
Meal. But
I'm
we know what you mean.
calling it
It's, you
Onig.
know, it's Onig, yes.
I'm
is
so
Onig.
used to it now.
Yeah.
I'm on the, this day's my week to make the food, so my husband's preparing it.
Oh.
That's the whole CD. That's a whole CD on everything. Everyone is a whole CD.
Oh, really?
And there's some worship songs.
Oh.
What else is on there? The Shema, I think Shema Israel is in there, and the Beth Shema.
Had to bring me the PR.
The Shema, the Avar Shema, Avar.
But I'll see you on the internet.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'll see you on the radio. I'll see you on the internet.
Let's see what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
This is what I